Hey everyone, today I want to take you through my approach to weddings, how I like to prepare for weddings, and how the photos look, and how I like to take my client or the bride and groom through the photos, and how I like to organize them after the shoot, after the editing, and after the processing. So let's get started. The first thing I like to do is ask, any of my clients, in this case, the wedding, the bride and groom, a questionnaire. A big question I like to ask is if you could go for one photo and take away one photo from this experience, what would it be? In this case, they didn't give me a precise answer. They didn't have an exact answer, but they mentioned that they'd like the wedding to kind of have a garden theme. And a very subtle thing I decided to do, and I'll show you, is that in the photos, if there was ever a green tint or if there was ever any greens in the photo, I would kind of try to increase the saturation and try to make the photos have a subtle green theme into them. I didn't want, everything to look like, the Hulk or the Green Goblin, but I wanted the photos that had a subtle garden theme. Another thing I like to do is take as many candid photos as well as many planned photos. You obviously want to get the big things at the wedding. You want to get them kissing at the booth, you want to get them dancing, you want to get the family, you want to get them cutting the cake, you want to get the rings, you want to get the any planned shots they want, talking to them ahead of time. Also, you want to tell stories through objects. So obviously the rings are big objects. The cake is an object I mentioned, but anything about the location or anything about, where they've been or where they've met is also really important. So I like to always look for objects that may tell the story, things that may be sacred to them, or things that kind of tell a cool story. A picture is worth 1,000 words, as they say. I always like to go for creating my photos is to tell a story through looking through many of the photos, through looking through this album. But I want them to be able to have an emotional relationship with the photos, to be able to think, wow, these were great times. As someone once told me, if their house were on fire, hopefully it never is, one of the things they would go into a burning building to find is this album I'm creating. You really want to make it precious to whoever's looking at it. So let's go into Lightroom right here. And you can see that I'm going to take you through the story of this wedding. And so I'm going to take you through about the candid shot. I'm going to talk through the candid shots and the planned shots. So the first thing I did when I got to the wedding is I walked into the hotel room to see the bride getting prepared. And the first person I saw was their mom there. And I took a quick candid shot. As you can see, she smiled and she's looking beautiful. There's a green lantern in the background, and so I increased the saturation on that lantern a little bit. So that's one of the green tints you see right there. It's blurry, again, with that bokeh effect because the aperture is really low. If you want to see my video on how to take photos, I have that in my YouTube channel. You can check that out as well. And then I took another photo with, I believe, the aunt right next to her. And then as the bride was getting ready, taking some candid photos of her getting ready, she posed right there, looking at the sisters and the family, watching her get prepared, making sure to get a picture of her looking in the mirror. Again, I'm out of the angle of the mirror. You don't want to see me in the mirror. You want to see the bride getting ready, and make sure you kind of know where you are in retrospect to them. And again, like I'm talking about with the objects, these are her shoes, the glass slippers, as I joked when I was at the wedding. They're very colorful. So one thing I wanted to do is obviously increase the saturation of these trees. I took them, behind a window, and look how colorful the shoes are. Increase the saturation here. I didn't do anything but just increase the saturation. So that really brings out the colors. It's kind of rainbow slippers colors. Another thing about the objects is I got pictures of the shoes with some feathers on them, the jewelry case, and the rings. Obviously the rings tell a good story. They're going to be forever together, and those rings symbolize that. Again, the bride and her sister, some candid shots. Also get the family, and this is what I mean. I saw these slippers and I think they got them kind of as a joke, but I think it's a perfect symbolization to the wedding. It says I do on them, and while these slippers are pretty kind of cute, it's also good to just take a picture of them, because I think anyone who looks at them knows what we're here for. We're here for a wedding. I do. The only time you kind of say that in life. So then this was the groom as he got out of his car. Took another candid photo of him. I really enjoyed that. And then we took some planned photos here at the golf course, or right behind the golf course, I should say. It was a really good day, and this again matches with the garden theme. Obviously, there's a lot of grass. Another thing I made sure to do is that when I took pictures with bigger and bigger families, again, you're getting a lot of combination of the family members. A lot of people maybe sitting around, kind of getting not annoyed, but just seeing a lot of time for the photo, just, sitting there and not taking photos constantly because you're constantly switching out people. You're getting the bride, the groom side, the bride side, the brothers, the sisters, the aunts, the uncles, then all of them together. Then maybe the uncles, the cousins, the uncles, every single combination of the family. They may not have seen each other in years. They may travel across the country to see each other. So you want to make sure that everyone's having a good time. And the way I like to do that is with emotional prompts. So instead of just kind of getting boring and laborious and going, smile, 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 instead try to have some funny interactions with the guests. Ask them to talk about the first time they remember meeting each other. Ask them, to, act like they love one another. Obviously it's family, so it's kind of a joke. Hopefully I said that during this shoot, and they all started laughing together, and then, act like, you're the big brother, or try to think of a time when you guys had the best times in your lives together. Maybe it was years ago, maybe it was yesterday. And so I think communicating with your clients constantly, or communicating with whoever you're taking pictures with, is really good. And obviously trying to get great angles here. The sun it was about 2 or 3 p.m. here, so getting everyone to smile correctly, and also making sure that when you have a big photo of family, that no one is standing behind each other. I had to retake this photo here because, as you can see, I'm missing one of the faces because someone is directly behind the other. So you want to make sure you're also conscious of everyone's height and who can stand behind whom. So if they're tall enough, you can stand behind someone else, but if they're not tall enough, you want them to stand to the side of them. So behind them, but to the side, so that you can actually get everybody. And then again, back to the objects. So making sure that, when we get to the reception now, we get a picture of what would become the presents table. And then also, this was at the very beginning of the wedding. These were little gifts of little hearts and little signs, and making sure people remember, what the wedding looked like. Maybe it even brings back the smell of the room, or just any kind of memory of them setting them up. They put a lot of effort into this wedding. You want to make sure, to get everything. This is the chapel, or where they're going to get married, and I thought the sun was hitting it at the perfect angle right there, so I decided to take a shot right there. Another thing is the food, and again, the food may be, just regular food or maybe special food, but I thought the rolls were really great when I got to have one. So I thought that was a great picture of the rolls. Again, I thought the lighting worked really well. I got a chance to get another picture of the ring. Another thing I want to mention here is that when doing weddings, if you're taking pictures of a lot of objects, it's good to buy a macro lens. So not just a regular normal lens, but a macro lens helps you take pictures of objects, of steady state, standstill objects, like rings, in a really detailed manner. So it's really good to bring that as well. If you do product photography, you know what I'm talking about. And again, more candid photos. This is the groom with his friends. They're saying peace. They've known each other for a long time. And again, you want the couple to remember all the good times. And again, this is the wedding ceremony. This is a side shot. This is, from another angle. And so I thought the lighting was really good here. And obviously we've got the bride kind of looking on there. So I just thought it was a great angle. And then we've got, hopefully a shot that lasts a lifetime, them kissing. This, again, I think the lighting from the sun as it's setting is doing really good here. And then we go into the reception, we go into the dancing. Again, you want to just try to get as many candid photos there. If you have dancing, you want to make sure you increase the shutter speed, so you're getting like a 1 out of 200, 1 out of 400 shots, so you can catch those quick action shots in a very steady manner. And again, speeches, hugs. Again, it's really good to capture the food. The food was great, and it can just be, another candid shot. Make sure, people have the memories of, oh, there was the food, because food brings back so much emotion into photos. You really want them to remember, objects, because they can think of, I remember that food. Usually that elicits so much good vibes and good energy when people are looking through everlasting memories. People can remember food for the last lifetime. And another thing is the cake. Always get a great, beautiful picture of the cake. cake decorator set it up so nicely, so I had to set up a picture like that. Now again, also later on, we get a picture of them cutting the cake. You want to get a picture of them throwing the bouquet as you get here. Here, one thing is I have the focus on the background, and so the bride is making kind of a weird face, or I kind of caught it there, but you can see how excited the friends are here to catch the bouquet. And here we go, we have some candid shots of the bride and the sister. This is the bride, this is the sister of the bride giving a speech, and then we have the cake cutting. This is one angle I thought was good, it's between their heads. And then we have one angle from the side, again, holding their hands together. You wanna make sure you do that. That's them cutting the first piece, and that's them eating a piece. And then one thing I also really wanted to catch was we had a band. This is the brother and sister speech, is that the bride was a singer, and so she sang with the band. There was a band, kind of an impromptu concert at the end. Not an impromptu concert, but just the concert at the end. And so I really wanted to make sure to get photos of the concert. And so as you can see here, I kind of took you guys on a journey from the very beginning of the wedding when I first showed up to all the way at the end to, the ending concert when it started to wind down. And I hope that you'll agree with me that this kind of took you through the journey of the preparation to the, the family photos, to the ceremony, to the reception, to the speeches, to the dances, to the rings. And so it really captures, the family and also any funny moments of just dancing and people expressing themselves. And that's really what photos allow you to do, is capture a memory in time and allow everyone to remember themselves and hopefully remember this joyous day they had. So again, my tips on capturing a wedding is, again, be aware and be prepared. I was a Boy Scout, so our motto is be prepared, if you didn't know that. And one thing is that if there's any lull, like if you have, 15 minutes before the ceremony starts, try to capture candid photos. Try to look for people just talking. Try to look for combinations, people you haven't got, maybe a sister or a brother or a friend you haven't seen at the ceremony who you haven't caught pictures of yet because they weren't there for the big group photos for some reason. And then try to catch, good conversations, try to catch people dancing, because usually, even if people are just waiting, they're having fun. Some of these people, most of these people may never see each other just because of life, because of where they live. So it's always good to capture like real moments from each other. Try to capture family. Try to remember that, these people love each other, and it's always good to capture, a great experience. And then if you can't capture family, definitely capture the objects that remember this place, because, I think place has, kind of a spiritual tie to all of us. And that, if we remember the places or the things associated with us, they can bring back such crystal clear memories and allow us to have those good emotions flowing through us of this great day we had. So let me know if you have any comments below. I'll have to do another video on actually making the album and getting it physically made and mailed to the clients. But that's how I like to look at weddings, is to tell a story through my photos. Have a great day, guys. Give a likes up and comment any questions. I'll answer them all later. Bye.